All right, all right, all right. We are live and in the house. It's been a while since I've gone live this way. Holy crap. Remember the border? I miss this border. I really like this setup a lot better. It's just that OBS was giving me so many problems, and I decided to go to StreamYard, but they did some updates on OBS, so maybe it's time to make a grandstanding return. But there's a lot of great features that for things you can do. Hey, Kenny, what's going on? Like, I can't show. Kenny has said hello. I can't show you guys that. At least with the way I have things set up. I need to get on Twitch. Is anybody familiar with Twitch or twitching or whatever the hell that is? I really feel old saying that, but I'm hoping that. Hey, Rue, how are you? Dave, what's going on? How you guys doing? I'm really hoping that this old dog can learn a couple new tricks. I really want to get on Twitch. I hear that there's a tip jar. You can put a tip jar out right here. You have a little tip jar. That's cool. Maybe I'll shut the fuck up about, donations and things. If I have a little tip jar, I just feel more comfortable. Like, hey, my tip jar is right there if you want a tip. I'm just going to share this around. I have such a surprise tonight. Hey, Russell Casualty, what's going on? Peter, how are you? What's going on? Hello, everyone. I noticed somebody ordered a pink They Came From Lodi mug. Was that you, Peter? If so, you got to take some pictures for me, buddy. I want to post it to the Facebook page. So if you did, I want to see it. I want to see it. And you'll notice it says that we're playing Doom. We're not playing Doom. Doom. Yes, we have a guest tonight, I guess. It's a guest interview. How about that, huh? Here, I'm just sharing this around. Yeah, that was you, Peter. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, man, thank you so much for the support. I really, really, truly appreciate it. Please take pictures so we can share them on all the Instagram, Facebook pages. Please let me know if there are any quality issues with the product that you've ordered. And yeah, man, I'm just really excited. I'm really stoked. I'm really happy with this fulfillment service thus far. So I'm dying to see what these mugs look like. It'll be the first one in existence. How about that? And again, to my whole, you know what I did tonight? I actually typed up an itinerary of everything I want to talk about before I get to the main meat of the show. Thank you, Peter. Peter says you got it. I wish. Okay, so already I'm missing the StreamYard function of like showing the comment. I like that. That created a little bit more interactivity. Plus, I can't have people guest appearance. However, the flip side is we have our border back, which is like the shit. Dave says he digged the last few episodes reading old interviews. All right, Dave, we're going to talk about that in 1 second. Hold on, let me just finish sharing this shit. Isn't that what I always do? Share this shit. See, if I had a producer, if I had a dedicated producer, I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm just speaking matter of factly. If I had a dedicated producer, I would not be doing this right now. These would be things that I would delegate to said producer, who would take care of these things so that I could just be the hostess with the mostest 100% of the time. I think that's all the pay. Oh, Pizza Punk, yeah. You shared there too. Okay, I'm all shared up, fellas and ladies. If there are any ladies out there, yo, what's up? All right, so I'm pulling out my itinerary like I said I was going to. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is Pizza Punk. So, and check this out. Ready? So here's the bright side of using OBS. Ready? And boom! Oh no! Don't look at that. That was supposed to come later. Shit! I already fucked it up. See, this is why I need a producer. This is why these things fucking happen. Okay, so what I meant to do was this. I meant to do this. Boom! Pizza Punk. Pizza is so punk. It's punk. Oh, you can't see my beautiful face. I'll just minimize. Oh, no! Shit, see, this is why I need a producer for. This is why I need a producer. So we're going to have these hiccups. All right, there she is. Oh, my God, I hate this. Oh, my God. All right. Now I remember why I hated fucking OBS so much. All right, shut the fuck up. All right. Anyway, Pizza Punk. Thank you, Rue. Rue says Pizza Punk was great. I'm really glad to hear that. So, you know, I love doing this Lodi content, but I'm trying to expand the brand. Why? Because ultimately I want to move more over to YouTube than Facebook. Still do Facebook stuff, but I want to move over to YouTube. All this stuff is, auxiliary. That's not a word. All of this stuff is sort of like my side piece to being a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker. That's what I do. I make movies, or I try to make movies, right? All this stuff is content. Rue says he loves the theme music. Pizza is so punk. It's punk. So if you go and you look up a band called the Sneaky Pinks with their now unfortunately disgraced frontman Justin Champlin, aka No Bunny, very, very breaks my heart to even say. I don't even want to talk about him because I'm so broken up about that guy. So much there that I'd rather, let's just not even talk about it. But he had a band called the Sneaky Pinks, and they had a song called I'm So Punk. It's punk. So I took that and made, because, I can't, I don't, I'm not a musician, as I've said in the past, so I can't really, can you hear that?
Welcome to the first episode.
Yeah, so we had Paris. Yeah, whoops. So I had Paris Mayhew on my show, and it was really fucking great. Paris and I go back 9 years, actually. I first met Paris 9 years ago when I interviewed him for this documentary. They came from Lodi. And we've remained internet acquaintances ever since on Facebook and whatnot, and had a bump in a couple years back with him. And then when I was, thinking about how I wanted to continue rock and roll cooking with Sal B, some of you may have heard my the tea about rock and roll cooking with Sal B, and some of the dysfunction which led to the eventual what's that word? Entropy. Fuck. I'm just striking out tonight, guys. That led to the lethargy and eventual decimation of rock and roll cooking with Sal B for a few years. And I always said to myself, I'm going to go back to that show, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the show, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to, instead of have it be with Sal B, it's going to be with me. I'll be the guy. You know why? Because I can rely on myself. And it'll be around pizza, because pizza is easy and you can talk about it endlessly. Francois in the house. What's up, Francois? And he says, we need a 45 of Pizza Punk and Cheesecake of Love. Oh, you are a sweetheart. Again, those are two songs by a guy. Oh, you know what? Now I remember why we dropped OBS, because of all the drop frames. Remember when I would drop frames, I'd be like, that's why we got rid of it. Haven't had that problem since with StreamYard. So, StreamYard. So maybe. Anyway, oh my God, I would love to put out a 45 of Pizza Punk and Cheesecake of Love. It's never going to happen, but yeah, Cheesesteak of Love, crisp. This is not fun. I'm just reading the comments. You can't see them on the screen. In any case, Pizza Punk was a lot of fun. Our first episode was pretty well received, I think. It was a lot of fun to eat pizza and talk punk with Paris. And I already have my second episode lined up, guys. So I might as well just drop the news on that right now. We have, oh shit, we don't want to see that. Hold on one second. It's coming right now. Just got to load. Oh no, don't look at all this stuff. You can't see it. There it is. All right, so this is premiering next. This is coming next fucking. Sorry. This Friday is my episode. My second guest, James Marandino from SLC Punk. James Marandino is the director and writer of SLC Punk. This premieres in 3 days, and if you can see right here on this part of the screen, you can set a reminder to let you know when the episode is going to drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that in the comment box right now. In 3 days, hear me chat with James as we talk about pizza, we talk about punk, and more importantly, we talk about SLC Punk, his incredible indie feature about punk rock in 1985 in Salt Lake City, a cult classic, an indie classic, just one of my favorite films of all time. So it was really cool to talk with the director of SLC Punk. So check that out. 3 days, like I said, set a reminder. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we're going to be moving a lot more stuff over to the YouTube channel. We got more episodes of Pizza Punk coming, more surprises with Facebook Evilive. We got 1979 a year horror punk coming. And yeah, man. So it's all about the YouTube channel. So there's that. And what's next on my little itinerary? All right, let's talk T-shirt business since we're here. Okay, we're gonna talk T-shirt business. So you heard me earlier talk about how our buddy Pete. How do you say your last name? Roloff? Pete Roloff. I'm gonna say it's Roloff. Pete bought a hot pink. I don't know if it was hot pink. Was it hot pink, Pete? I think he did. He bought a hot pink. They came from Lodi coffee mug. Is there anything better than drinking your coffee with JFK with a demon vein, trademark demon vein, coming down his face? It says they came from Lodi to always remind you where they came from. And if you don't know who they are, then what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck? Roll off, yeah. What the fuck are you doing here? But, you know, you don't have to get a mug, you know, if you don't want to. I mean, maybe you want a cell phone case. We got the classic tee. Look at that, in orange or whatever that is. I'm a little colorblind with these glasses on. You can get in so many colors. Look at this hot neon mess right here. I love it. Actually, I think this is the move. If you're asking me, that is the move. Look at that. Woo! Sorry, I'm just going to gloat over the merch. Oh, or maybe you want a salmon. Maybe you're the salmon guy. You know, you walk around just being like, I just want to be a salmon. Pete says, I can't wait to bring it to work. You better take a picture at work, Pete, with your mug. That's what I want to see. I want to see one like this with you in the picture going, and I want one a close up with the mug. And we'll pimp that shit. We'll post it everywhere. You got a hoodie, zip up hoodie. Look at that. You got your little insignia. Let people know where you work. They came from Lodi. And on the back, we got the giant back piece right there. Just a variety of T-shirts and whatnot. One more favorite that I think is really great. This is the, what's it called? This is the all-over print. And what's special about the all-over print is it's just got the big picture of JFK with the demon vein going down his face. Jeremy, you don't want to. Oh, I like that. Jeff Frumess with 2 Z's. That's pretty cool, actually. You know, Jeremy, man, I think I need to, like, cop that from you. Jeff Frumess? It's like if I was, like, Hispanic or Latino or something. Jeff Frumess? I kind of like that, man. That's friggin' dope. Thanks for thinking of that. Yeah, so the all over print tee, please allow me to be shameless a little bit longer. With the, you know, the football makeup. And then here's the cool thing about the all over print is that on the back, it says they came from Lodi. So when you're walking down the street and the hot girl or guy is looking at you from behind, they're going to go, oh my goodness, he comes from Lodi. They're just going to be confused. They're not going to know what's up. There's your Halloween orange, your November Coming Fire red. Speaking of November Coming Fire, hold on, the infomercial's almost over, people. We have the Horror Punk Sour Cream shirt. I got more designs coming. It's just a pain in the ass to put them up here on the site. It's just really tough. You can get that in a mug as well. And yada, yada, yada. All right, broken record, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. I know. Even I'm telling myself to shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Stop doing it. Stop this madness. I think this is the all-over. No, that's the premium tee. Here's the all-over print. Yeah, that's just gorgeous right there. Is that it? No. Did I not? Oh, here it is. That's... You fucking can't go wrong with that shit. Sour cream? Look at that. Straight up November's Fire sour cream. Okay, enough with that. Jeff, stop. Stop with this madness. Okay. So, what's the next thing I want to talk about is, it sucks when I say this is the next thing I want to talk about. I should just go into it. All right. So, I always talk about championing music, independent music, and I want to do that right now because I like to give credit where credit is really fucking due. Wow, Peter, great idea. Peter says Phantom of the Opera face would be a good design. Wow. All right. You get Jeremy, you get 13% royalty check if I use it. I promise. Um, I believe giving credit where credit is due, and I love to champion truly independent music on all levels, right? Oh, we've already had 4 drop frames. See, that sucks. That sucks about this. I don't like that. Please let me know if I'm freezing up at all. All right. So what I want to highlight, we're going to, like I said, we're going to start to try and champion independent music. Really, I should be doing this on Pizza Punk, I guess. I don't know. But the Pizza Punk shows are pre-taped, so that presents a problem. I like doing this show live in the flesh. So basically what I want to talk about is Robbie Bloodshed one more time. Because I listened, I sat down and I listened to Robbie's album. And I got to tell you, I really got to hand it to this guy. And I'm blown away by the production on some of these songs. You could tell a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this thing. And I want to champion that. And right now, you can 100% support the creation of independent music at a trying time. Robbie is 100% independent in what he does. He has no label support. He just does it on his own. And so you can support Robbie by picking up a copy of his newest album. And, you really feel the Queen influence on there. And it's magnificent. I told Robbie, I said, Robbie, now I want you to listen to X and then fucking absorb X the way you absorb Queen, because that's the thing. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's emulation, man. I mean, his songwriting, you feel the Queen, but it doesn't feel like ripped off from Queen. It feels like he's channeling Queen, but writing original songs doing it. And it's wonderful. So check that out. Okay. One last, musician I want to champion. This girl is amazing. Her name is Abby Ooze, man. And this is her EP. It's out of print, but you can buy it online. I have listened to these 5 songs probably 500 times. If you're into like no budget, lo-fi garage punk, like bubble punk, this is for you. Okay? Like, it's not polished or anything. It's very, very, like, it's the exact opposite of Robbie Bloodshed, actually. It's like this, you could tell this was recorded in a bedroom, and it's all drum machines, and it's just, this chick is so punk, it's not to be believed. And I just really believe in her music. And so you can buy, actually, it's a name of your price. So you could buy it theoretically for $1. All I'm going to say is, give it a try. Listen to it. I should have put Robbie's link. Robbie, I already X'd out the window, so forgive me. I'm going to, I'm just going to share Abby Ooze's. But you saw go to Robbie's Bandcamp and buy his thing too. But that's Abby Ooze's. It's in the comments. Tony says, I'll have to have my little bro join and share his music. It's horror punk and it's hardcore and it's everything. Hey, Tony, friggin' share it in the group, man, or share it here, man. Go right ahead. Let's see what that's all about. All right, Xing that out. Moving on. So, if you'd like to support this channel, wow, I'm really just fucking whoring out. If you'd like to support this channel and you don't have any coin, the way that I don't have any coin, that's understandable. Just click on some of these ads. When you click on some of these ads, Google AdSense foots the bill. So please do so. Please click on some of these ads. That supports the creation. If you do have a little cash, you can go to this button right here, and you can buy a cup of coffee. When you buy a cup of coffee, you become an executive producer on They Came From Low. Oh, no, not They Came From Low. 1979, a year of horror punk. Same thing if you buy some merch. Peter is a twice over producer, as he's bought coffee and he's also bought merch. So there's that. Okay. Enough of that. Oh, this is the other thing I want to talk about. I'm very proud to announce that my short film got into the festival Boca de Inferno online film festival. They've been doing this for 20 years. This is their online edition. They are down in South America, Brazil, I believe. And man, I'm so honored to be selected. My short film, and that's what you saw. David was selected, and yeah, man, I'm just blown away. I just wanted to share that news because I'm stoked. You know, see how well I had everything laid out, and I just xed it out as catch as catch can. Um, whoa, this is cool. I have like a mini feed. Followed. What is this? Huh. What is the mini feed? That's pretty badass. Okay, sorry. All right. So that brings us to our main. Thank you, Rue. That brings us to our main fucking appetizer entree of the of the evening. Oh no, wait. We didn't talk about. All right, wait. Hold on. There's still more. Fuck. God damn it. There's still more shit. Sorry, it was like an effort to be so much more produced, and it's like less produced because I'm like, just fucking shit in the bed. All right, let's take off our display capture, and I just want to go. Okay, some more things that are coming up. Verotic, Glenn Danzig's movie Verotica or whatever the fuck it's called, is going to be coming out on Shudder, right? So what we're gonna do is we're going to do a hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Verotic. If any of you have Shudder, you can sign up for the free trial if you don't have it. But if you do have it, go to Shudder where you will be able to watch Glenn Danzig's masterpiece. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a watch party. We're going to do the best watch party ever. We're going to sync it up all at the same time. And we're going to watch the movie together, and I'm going to do a commentary on motherfucking oh shit, this is gone. Terrible producer, Jeff. Terrible producer. This is Shudder right here. So you can it's like Netflix of horror. I fucking love Shudder. Definitely worth the $3.99 a month or something, whatever it is. It's fucking worth it. I think I might be grandfathered at $3.99 a month. So I don't know. But yeah, man, we're gonna watch Veronica, and so we're gonna sync it all up, and then I'm gonna be here on the mic watching Veronica, and I'll have headphones on, and I'll be talking into this mic. And so we're going to do a live commentary on Veronica, and it's going to be really fucking great. Yes, it's going to be Mystery 3000, Mystery Theater, whatever it is, Mystery Science Theater 3000 style. I mean, listen, I don't want to... hey, Marco, don't spoil it. I don't want to hear about tits crying. I kind of actually heard about that already, but still, let's not spoil. Let's anti-spoil that. Yes, that's the plan. So tune in here. I don't know when it drops. Whenever it drops, I'll give you a week's notice. I'll mention it on the Facebook page. Join the Facebook group. Rue is down. That's going to be great. We're going to have so much fucking fun. It's going to be hilarious. We're going to be taking in the artistry of Glenn Danzig's cinematic vision. I've heard that it's like the room of horror movies. I think that because we've studied Glenn for so long that maybe we'll like understand what he was trying to do more than say the average horror moviegoer. And listen, as someone who's made a feature-length film, it is so hard to make a feature-length film, and like we can watch it and embrace it, but I'm not about tearing things down. I don't tear things down. I celebrate them. So we're going to celebrate Veronica, whether it's goofy or scary or serious, whatever the tone, we're going to celebrate it. We're not going to make fun of it, okay? Well, maybe we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm out of seltzer. Oh, shit. All right, we got one more seltzer. Yeah, Chris, that's right. Okay. Moving on. I'm trying to think of fun content for us to do. I just feel like that would be such a fun jaunt, right? Okay, moving on to the next thing on my itinerary. Let's see what it is. Clip content. So, You may notice on the YouTube page. That there are clips from previous episodes, and you might think, "Oh shit, what's all this rehash stuff?" The clips are for people that might discover the show. So I, made very clickbaitable, sort of like easy to consume clips of the show for people to discover on YouTube, and I hope people discover on YouTube. It's more digestible in small chunks, so you may see some repeat stuff, but that's all that it is. Tony Seacrest says his comics are pretty good. Got a ton of shit for them. Satanica is a good comic. Couldn't be worse than Troma. I love Troma though. They're from New Jersey too. Actually, Troma is from New York. Tromaville is in New Jersey. And yeah, I love Troma too. Troma has a special place in my heart. No matter how bad or cheesy or politically incorrect it is, it's just comfort food. So there's that. Then the next thing we're going to talk about. Okay, so we've covered another thing to keep your eye out for. We've covered Jerry Only. We covered the Misfits in 1983. We covered Jerry Only in 1993. The next interview we're going to tackle, which is not next week, I don't think. The next interview we're going to tackle is Jerry Only in 2003. Because it just makes sense to me. Like, let's revisit Jerry Only every 10 years and see how the history, the story, his perception has changed. Tom says, so from New York, like the Misfits. Well, Tom, Troma Studios I think it's in Brooklyn. It's always been in Brooklyn. So Troma was always a New York studio. However, the Misfits bridged and tunneled it through, to Manhattan and were a New York band, while I guess Troma did the reverse, or Jeremy says they're from Long Island, New York. I don't think so, man. I think the studio, the iconic studio, which I've never visited, despite living in New York and being very close to it. I don't think I've ever been to their Brooklyn space. They have a Brooklyn studio. That's the building where they've had 45 years of real, spelt REEL, independence. Okay, moving on. So we're gonna do Jerry Only in 2003 and see how he's changed. And then if somebody can find it, I want to see Jerry Only in 2013. Okay. And then I think we'll call it a day on that. Although there is that other one from 1995, but that could be down the road. Jeremy says he has a business card from Lloyd. Johnny Dingle. Okay, thank you, John. So Jeremy, Johnny clarifies it. It used to be in New York City. Now it's in Long Island. Gotcha. Okay, and Toxie is indeed the first superhero from New Jersey. Let me tell you something. As a non-beer drinker, there is nothing. By the way, how does the mic sound tonight? Am I clipping? Am I too loud? Should I turn down the gain? There's nothing like a refreshing seltzer, man. I mean, I just fucking love seltzer. I love it. That's neither here nor there, though. Okay, moving on. Before we get to our main treat. Okay, so now I want to announce something. All right, this is big news. Huge news right now, people. Huge. Ready for it? Huge. So I want to have a contest, and it's not really a contest, but it's kind of a contest. If you have a band, and again, I know there's only 15 people watching right now on this stream, but I'm hoping that that more people will see this on YouTube. If you have a band and you guys are like down with Misfits, Samhain, Danzig, all that shit, I would love for you to cover it. I think this is the Earth AD Samhain contest. What does that mean? It means that I want to hear you cover Samhain songs like they were Earth AD songs, or cover Earth AD songs as Samhain songs. Get it? So the idea is to slow down or make the Earth AD songs more Samhainy and make Samhain songs more Earth AD, if you can. Great example. Imagine what would the shift sound like if it was on Earth AD? What would the howl sound like on Earth AD? You know what I mean? Here's one for you. What would Wolf's Blood sound like if it was covered more like macabre, like slow and atmospheric and thank you, Chris. And bells chiming and stuff. So that's the idea. A special shout out to John from Voice of Doom, because I feel like Voice of Doom would just crush this competition. And we'll play, if you can record this track, if you record tracks, send them to me and I'll play them on the show, and we will appraise them. We will judge them. And I don't have any problem doing that because I don't have to worry about content ID tagging, because you're covering these songs. So it gives you an excuse to cover Misfits and Samhain. It's a challenge because you have to rearrange the song. So the idea, again, think about that. Wolf's Blood, if it was done like macabre, that's not to say like, it's just like macabre is a slow like doom. It's like dripping in doom. Spiritus, life is pain. Succubus, life is pain. Like, could you imagine that? Spine of a cat. So imagine like Wolf's Blood, like, you don't know who I'm talking. No, I don't know. I don't even know how it would fucking go. I'm not a musician. That's why. Buzz says it's a trippy idea, dude. I love it. Thank you, Buzz. I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see it happen. So I'm just putting that out there. What is there? Is there anything to win? No, nothing to win apart from like smiles, cheers, attention. Have you play on the show. Maybe what we'll do is we'll have you on the show and do a little interview. You could tell us about your approach artistically. Peter says Earth AD version of Archangel. I would love to fucking hear that. Could you imagine that? So that's, Peter, that's the idea. So if you're in a band and you're listening to this stream, either archived on YouTube or live here, you know what to do, motherfuckers. Next up. All right. So before we launch it, okay. So here's the special surprise. So I had a guest on, and you may or may not know him. Samhain version of Blood Feast is next level shit. Fuck yeah. Johnny Dingle says, I'd like to see Danzig do Christ the Conqueror. Misfits cover All Murder. That would be interesting. Yeah. I mean, think about Mephisto Waltz. Mephisto Waltz is like Samhain covering a Misfits song. Because that's Erie and Glenn doing a Misfits song that the Misfits never did, except rehearse. So kind of interesting that we've talked about this before, about the lost history of Mephisto Waltz. All right. So this next part of the show is really weird. So some of you may have seen this guy. There's this show called 2 Minutes to Late Night. Is anybody familiar with 2 Minutes to Late Night? Who knows this show, 2 Minutes to Late Night? Hands, comments. Here we go. This is it. This guy, Gwarsenio Hall, fucking hysterical. I love that he calls himself Gwarsenio Hall. His name's Jordan. Him and his partner have, Chris says he's a big fan of 2 Minutes to Late Night. What's up, Chris? I'm going to call you tomorrow, I promise. This is why I couldn't talk. I mean, I've been in a marathon from thing to thing to thing to thing. I didn't know they've been around. Chris says they've been around since 2015. I did not know that. You can't see the display. There we go. That's great. Well, Chris, I'm glad you're a big fan because I had Gwarsenio Hall on the show tonight. We pre-taped the interview, but we taped the interview. And I had him. We talked for about 40 minutes, and it was just a really good time. I really love the Snakes of Christ cover that he performs. Because I mean, that's what this guy does. So in addition to having his talk show, his late night show, but for metal, you just don't have that anymore. You just don't have any shows for like metal and stuff. Yes, Marco, he did do a Misfits cover with Jamie Josta, and we talked all about that as well. And I totally butchered the fucking drummer from what's his face from the E Street Band's name, Max Weinstein, Max Wine. I don't know. I don't even know the fucking last name. I know who he is. I know he's the drummer. I just totally fucked up his name. Super embarrassing. Jeremy says he did Earth AD with Frankie. Yeah, that's the Misfits cover that Marco was talking about. Man, I was just like, I had to have this guy on the show because I just like, he just seems like he would really, that he'd just be knowledgeable about the Misfits, and that he'd be enthusiastic to talk to about the Misfits. And I just wanted to pick his brain about, covering some of that stuff. Yes, he did. John says he did a great version. They did a great version of Dirty Black Summer. They did with Steve and Johnny from Danzig. And it's just great. But my favorite though, is the Snakes of Christ cover because, what's her face? Gina Gleason. She's the guitarist in Baroness currently. She used to play for Santana, and she used to be in Circus du Soleil, I guess, for the Michael Jackson show or something. And she is a fucking unbelievable guitarist. And I got to tell you, I told this to Gwarsenio, or as he calls himself, Fart Wahlberg, on the interview. That Gina, again, no offense to Tommy, love you, Tommy, really do. Think you're a fine guitarist, all things considered. Nothing wrong with the Danzig lineup currently. Just putting that disclaimer out there. But Gina Gleason would fucking kill it as Glenn Danzig's live guitarist. Would fucking kill it. She would shred the fuck out of those songs. And if you don't believe me, go listen to Snakes of Christ that they do. She would just crush it. Chris says, I wish they get picked up by Adult Swim or a similar outlet. Any place that would give them the budget to go wild. Chris, I agree, man. I really, truly agree. I think they do a great show. We talked about the Misfits karaoke. I forgot to ask him about his dad. He goes to his dad's wedding. That was pretty funny. Whoa, is that a picture of him without any makeup on? I guess that's him. Wow. Look at that. Lunch with Garcia and Terracles. He's wearing a Danzig-inspired shirt. Whoa, that's so weird. But yeah, he just wears the corpse paint, and yeah, man, he was nice enough to give me some of his time, and got all dressed up, and we just chatted Misfits for he didn't have much time, but we chatted Misfits for a little bit, and so that's what you're gonna hear now. You're gonna hear that interview right now. We're gonna play it. Johnny Dingle says, or even better, I like to see Demon Danzig play with Angels Christ. Demon Danzig play with Angels Christ the Conqueror, but I think that's impossible, Johnny. Come on, get your head out of the clouds. You're crazy. You're crazy. So we're gonna cut to that right now, and then I figured that it would be really good. So here's the last thing I'm gonna say before I turn the interview on. Stay tuned after the interview, and the reason why is, and I guess I can hop in the chat while the interview is going on. Maybe, I don't fucking know. The reason why I want you to stand by after the show is I am finally going to tell you the story of the Wishbone Ranch. Yeah, I think it's time. I told it to Gwarsenio himself, Jordan. I told it to him, and as I'm telling the story, I'm just going, God, I could tell this so much better. I'm sort of leaving some of the details out. So I actually cut that off the tail end of the interview and said, you know what? I'm going to do it fucking live. And I'm going to talk about the Evil Ranch and explain to you the significance of this ranch bottle. But I see that I have a lot of, why is it brown? Peter, that's a very, that's what fucking Gwarsenio said. He said, he took one look at it. He was like, why is it brown? He freaked out. You can hear his reaction to the story. Well, I'm going to put the interview archived on YouTube. You can hear his reaction to the story, but I'm going to tell a slightly more detailed version of the story. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to retell the story. I felt like it was too quick. He had to go. He had a heart out, and I was like, I should have given the story better. It needed more. So stick around for after the show. I'm gonna retell the tale of the ranch and why it is proud. One thing before we start, I I'm seeing that there's drop frames. Am I freezing up at all? That's what I'm really concerned about. At the end of the day, Jeremy says the ranch goes on Danzig salad. Well, Jeremy, you're not wrong there. You are not wrong there. I, just, I literally sat on this story for so long. Oh my god. Um, guys, am I like dropping frames at all, or like we good? Because if we're good, I'm gonna move on. Just tell me. Is am I like freezing up or anything? Is this like buffering? Okay, Kenny says no freezing. I can see. Okay, good. All right. Enough of the preamble. Here it is. This is my interview with Jordan, aka Gwarsenio Hall, aka
One,
motherfucking
two, three.
Fart Wall.
Welcome to
Oh,
another
shit.
episode of Facebook
Can you hear that,
Evilive.
guys?
I'm Jeff, your host, and tonight we have a very special episode. I have a very special guest in the,
You know
in
what,
the
let's-
house. He goes
God
by many
damn it.
names. Tonight
Let's
it
start that
happens to
again.
be Fart Wahlberg.
Were you able to hear that, by the way? Did that sound come up? Sorry, guys. I mean, that's the thing. That's the problem with fucking OBS. There's just too many production problems. That's part of the reason why I switched. See, I just got 13 drop frames. A little loud. Wow. Okay. I'm going to turn it down. Thanks, Rue. All right, ready?
One, two, three. Welcome
Turn it
to
down
another
one
episode of
second.
Facebook Evilive. I'm Jeff, your host, and tonight we have a very special episode. I have a very special guest in the house. He goes by many names. Tonight it happens to be Fart Wahlberg, but any other day of the week you might know him as Gwarsenio Hall from 2 Minutes to Late Night. How you doing?
Dude, I mean, I'm doing as well as you can be doing. These days, I don't know. I'm gardening. I play video games for the first time since I was like 14 years old. So I'm
Wow.
coping.
Coping.
Yeah,
Wow.
just coping.
Well, that's good. That's very, very good. I'm glad to hear you're coping. Have you been listening to any Misfits during this quarantine?
I mean, I a lot. Well, I mean, I listened to like Earth AD most recently because we did the
Right.
Earth AD cover with Jamie Josta, and that is one of my. I love that album. I mean, it's like for me, it's like like and anthropologically, I don't know the right term, but it
I
feels
butcher
like
words
that's
all
the
the time.
birth of it's like the birth of like real hardcore to me.
Huh.
Like I think you can say it, like I think like they like there was hardcore, but it was hardcore punk. And
Right.
I think that you really see like a new type, like that whole album really feels like them doing like a new genre in my mind. So I love Earth AD.
It's kind of like I think Earth AD is kind of like punk rock for metal heads in a way, too. Like,
Mhm.
like because for some strange reason, obviously, there's the Metallica connection to Earth AD, but like it seems that the Misfits are, and this is what was actually going to be one of my questions for you. The Misfits seem to be one of the only bands that get the metal pass. Why is that?
Oh,
Is it because of
Danzig.
Metallica?
No, it's
Danzig?
well, Metallica, but also just Danzig. Like
Right.
Danzig is a figure in the metal world. So I think naturally, because you can tie it back to that, I think it's kind of like how like if it's kind of like how Jesus Peace and Nothing have the same fan base, even though like one even because of
Hmm.
Aaron, if you don't know Jesus Peace is like a chaotic nightmare deathcore band.
I'm not
And
gonna lie, I don't know anything about them. I'm not
really,
even gonna
don't-
pretend. I'm
they're
sorry.
cool, they're new and
Yeah.
they're cool. And then
Mhm.
Nothing is a shoegaze band. But I
Okay.
think where Aaron, the lead singer of Jesus Peace, plays bass, and I think a lot of those people
Gotcha.
share a
So
fan base.
crosses.
it crosses, even though they're completely
Yeah.
different genres.
Yeah.
But I think that, metal has Danzig, and
Yeah.
then they follow back to the Misfits, and I think there's some I like they can attach to the Misfits because of like it's cool to hear all of like the youth and the angst that's in that music. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of my favorite part of like the Misfits, because like when you listen to the Misfits, you're listening to people who don't really know how to play their instruments. The recordings sound bad, but it's like the right type of not knowing how to play your instrument. It's the right type of this fucking sounds bad. It sounds like shit in the right way. And I think like there's like a universal like teenage angst with the Misfits, because they're not, they didn't like a lot of other punk bands, they didn't put real like politics into the music. And I think ultimately that's okay, because most punk bands who like put politics into the music, they grow up to have like the opposite opinion, and then you're like, this is fucking weird. But I love politics in music, put more of it in. But with the Misfits, I think that's like, it made them stand out, but it also makes them universal for a lot of people. Like, I think if you're just an angry teenager, you can find something to like in the Misfits.
So I do agree. It's funny. I was literally just talking about this on the last episode. We were going over an interview with Jerry. One of my favorite things to do on the show is because this band has been around for so long, I like to, look back on different interviews with different band members, because they're in different headspaces. And so they never give the same sort of answer when they're asked questions. But what was interesting, we were talking about a Jerry Only interview, and that came
drink
up.
A seltzer. Is that okay?
Oh,
is there
actually,
a brand problem?
No, speaking of which, this episode is sponsored. I do this every episode. I only drink seltzer. So this episode is actually sponsored tonight by Aha Seltzer and Polar Seltzer. It looked like you had a grapefruit.
No, I have a Georgia peach.
Oh, Georgia peach. Great flavor. Yeah. This is a fusion. This is a lime watermelon.
Oh,
it's really great.
No, I want that. Wait, that's
here. Hold on. Here, take it. Hey, come on, grab it, man. Come on. What's wrong with you? Just take it. Oh, this isn't working.
I can't. I don't know. It's my fish. It's my flippers. I don't know. It's not working.
But I agree with you. It's not, and what most people will say, and I'm sure you're familiar with the genre of horror punk, which all of that comes from the Misfits. And the thing
is doing like everyone's just doing the Misfits in that genre. There's just it's literally just it's Misfits worship. And that's fine, and you should do that. But
it's a one-note thing. But what's interesting is people love that genre, or the people that the things that the people love about that genre most, they go, oh, it's apolitical. There is no politics. And my only rebuttal, the thing that I wanted to say for all this preamble, is simply that I think if you're making art of any kind, it's going to be political, but not in the way of politics, the way we're thinking about party politics or something, but the politics of say, as you were talking about, teen angst, that's politics, social politics, everything that you're doing, every artistic statement has something political behind it, whether has to do with government politics or just the politics of dating, and it's just so on that level, I think the Misfits are incredibly political. On the level of I turned into a Martian is about I feel like an alien from another planet, and that is political. But that's where it stops.
I agree. Well, there's also all of his prior. There's also all of the Kennedy stuff, because that's the first stuff. Is is who killed Marilyn is about the Kennedys. Bullets about the cat. There's so much
Theme for a Jackal.
Yeah,
it's about Ted Kennedy. Apparently,
I love that song.
Love that song. They don't have a bad song.
But he has a lot of conspiracy politics kind of thing,
that he never talks about unless he's on Steve Jones,
or if he's on stage. But it's always
yes, really that's true.
But either way, when I say not like outwardly political, like yeah, it's not about the politics of the time, really. Like they're not like the dead Kennedys who were just yelling at mayors all day. Like it's
Right.
and I think that that's like and I don't know, I think it's just they're the right like entry point for just like if you're starting to get into counterculture kind of thing. Like they have everything. Big imagery, like, all of their
The
songs
symbol,
are
man.
movie
The Crimson
titles
Ghost.
mostly, and it's you can tie it all. It's a great package for an entryway band.
You know, it's interesting too. You talk about songs themed for a jackal, and I mean, I talk about this every episode when we go on air. But when he was writing that stuff, or a lot of those early songs, if you go back and you listen to like the lyrics that he's writing about on like Static Age stuff, or the Cough Cool stuff, or whatever, it's all Bukowski. It's all like beat poetry. Some of it is like disassociative. It's really, really, like, I heard this whole thing about like how in our group somebody was saying that Cough Cool is actually about a vampire. I was like, Cough Cool is about a vampire, and you look at those lyrics and like it gets broken down. I mean, he's writing about out there stuff, Glenn. Like,
I love it. You know what? It's his lyrical writing from be like is shockingly good and smart for how young he was when he wrote these songs.
He's very well read. He's very well read.
Yeah, as in every interview, he's like, "Yeah, I read the whole Bible. I know more about the Bible than the Pope."
Wait, so question. Tell me.
Yeah.
So tell me about Riot Fest Chicago, Riot Fest Denver.
Right.
And what is that like? And, I know what it was like I was watching live on Facebook because of all the people that were streaming it. But like, I can't imagine like the anticipation of being there in the flesh. And what was that like?
So, I mean, it was bananas because, I mean, the Misfits are, I mean, it's weird to say that they are my favorite band because they are, even at like, they were, because of what, as we're talking about, like they're an entry point band, but I still I love everything. Like they're everything I love about like being in a band. They're theatrical. They kind of suck a little bit, but it's cool at the same time. I was so excited. They were the band I never thought would get back together because for the
greatest reunion of all time. Hands
weird
down.
I'm gonna go weirdest reunion of all time because on paper that is such a weird, like, the rise of the Misfits happens when Glenn isn't in the band. So like you're looking, like, for the most part Glenn is successful, and then later people find the Misfits because of like Metallica. Metallica also is lifting up Glenn Danzig at the same time. But you got to imagine that when you're Glenn Danzig and you've been famous for years for your own like made up last name, and someone comes to you, like a lawyer's or like managers are coming to you and going like, "Hey, do you want to get back together with your high school band?" And he's like, "No, what? Why would I do that?" And I think like eventually when he saw, like, I think it took like someone going like, "Listen, eventually we can put this in Madison Square Garden," because I think he doesn't. I think for the longest time, like, he didn't think of like the Misfits as a bigger thing than he was. Like, I think he was like,
right,
that was me original, and that's why he did all of like I think it took him playing Misfits songs live during Danzig sets, Danzig Doyle stuff, for him to really kind of get that the Misfits were something. But that's got to be so weird. Like, if someone came to me and was like, "Do you want to play a reunion with your high school band?" I'd be like, "Never, no, absolutely not." So
I think he was mad too, though. He was like, he's pissed that like, people, here he is in Danzig. He breaks the top 40. He's touring around the world. He finds all the success. And then all everybody ever wants to talk about is the Misfits. And he's like, why didn't you want to talk about the Misfits when they were together? Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, like, it's like John Carpenter with The Thing. Like The Thing
Yeah.
is his,
Yep.
it was the only time he ever got money to make a proper movie, and he shows exactly what he can do with no like budget restraints, and it's a masterpiece, and no one gives a shit when it comes out, and it ruins his career. And now 20 years later, people are putting The Thing like, this is the greatest horror movie ever made. It's on the top of all of the lists, and he's like, great, where are all you assholes in 1982?
Yeah.
Or
Such
whatever.
a bummer. Such a bummer.
But yeah, I think it's like, I'm sure he's angry. I think he's angry because like, he, for a while, for the longest time, the band wasn't important, just the little skull was. And so he kept the merch rights, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I see this, like, he's like, the symbol and the merch are doing good, so I'll take that, and you guys can go and write like bad songs with a Proud Boy for a little while, have fun. And
by the way, if you listen to any of those songs, this was a hot take for me recently. I always knew that Jerry was really Christian, and again, nothing against Christianity here. All I'm simply saying is, if you decipher the lyrics on that first album, that first reunion album, whatever you want to call it, American Psycho, that it's a secret Christian. It's a Christian metal. It's a Christian. All those songs are about Christianity. It's crazy. And what I wonder, does Danzig, what would Danzig think if he knew that they were going around touring as the Misfits, singing Christian songs?
Well, he's also obsessed with like Christ
He
and
is.
God, but in the other way. Like, but he's
very
not,
true.
He's not like but he's just fascinated with the Bible, and stuff, and rightfully, I get it. It makes it's the oldest story for most people, so I get why you want to get in depth with it.
I love that in the video, by the way, the giving tree, that intro with the giving tree kills me.
Santos Montano of Old Man Gloom is
incredible.
Incredible. The band
that was amazing,
and he is super funny. A very funny gentleman from a band that most people are like, wait, these people are funny?
And what a drummer. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. The way he was drumming on that, on the Snakes of Christ, he just is tight. And who else? Gina Gleason, right? Did I say her last name?
From
she could be in Danzig, dude. Like, she would make such a killer, like, no offense, Tommy, love you, Tommy, but like, Gina would crush it as the guitarist of Danzig.
I mean, yeah, she has been so many people's guitarist. Like, it's very cool that she's in like a creative project that's so fulfilling to her, like Baroness. And it's just the right energy for her, as she gets to use so much of her talent in that band. But she's like, she was in the like Las Vegas Michael Jackson show, flying around in golden armor, shooting fire out of a guitar. Like,
wow,
she absolutely could do that. We I actually got, because of the Metal Injection Slay at Home festival, I got to sing Dirty Black Summer with John.
Oh yeah, I saw that was John and Steve.
And that was really fun. So they're obviously open to playing with some other folks sometime. So maybe.
Hey, you never know. You never know. Steve is I've never met Johnny, but I know Steve, and Steve is a real sweetheart of a guy, great guy. And but the other thing that kind of blew my mind too with this Earth AD cover. First of all, the one thing I noticed with the Earth AD cover you guys did, it's a very faithful metal cover. Fart. You're frozen, what? Fart. Oh, there
Oh,
you
no,
are.
I'm just. Was
You
I
were frozen for a minute. Yeah, you were frozen. I thought
Okay.
you were frozen in a fart. Like you freeze when you fart, and you were just like,
Oh, when you first said that, I was like in a fart ice cube. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, no, this Earth AD cover that you did with Max Weinstein from E Street Band,
Max
huh? Weinberg from E
Yeah.
Street Band. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
How did
man.
that happen?
Well, we had it was actually a suggestion from his son Jay, who is the drummer of Slipknot.
Ah, okay.
And we had
There you go.
Jay on the show covering Bruce Springsteen with us. So
Wow.
we did we did a Bruce Springsteen cover, and then he actually hit me up. He was like, if I got my dad to play like Earth AD, would you guys want to play Earth AD with him? And I was like, yes. That's the whole reason we made this show, is to play metal with Max Weinberg event. Is like, we want musicians who are not from the metal world to come in and play metal with us. Like, that's the whole.
He killed it. He crushed it, man.
Dude, it was so fun. He did. He crushed it. It's amazing that he's got that. You forget that he's such a talented drummer. Like, there are spots on Springsteen albums that when you listen to it, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Go off, King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It was cool to I also just, it was the reason to do like, we don't always do like faithful covers, but when we get like opportunities like this, we're like, yes, absolutely. Let's do. And I like that it was not like the most typically covered Misfits song too. So I was very excited.
Well, that's what was so, but here's the thing, it being a very faithful metal cover is what makes it so interesting, because it just goes back to what we first started talking about like how, that there is so much, like it's a punk rock record for, metalheads, and like that it just lends itself naturally to be a more, I would say that was a more metal version, and it just sort of it worked. It plays to the song.
Yeah, absolutely. I always have looked at it more as like I think that this is where, a lot of like more chaotic hardcore has come from. I think this is where you get I think you get the bands that are spawned from like kind of the Black Flag type of hardcore, and then you
Right.
get I think you get stuff like I think like eventually the Misfits grows, and then it spawns like this is where Converge kind of comes from and stuff. I think like because of the like Earth AD is unrelenting. There's no groove in it. It's just robotic and pummeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, hard because when I think of metal, I think of like technicality in it, or like,
Right.
the chaotic version of that is like a death metal, but because of the simplicity of the instrumentals in Earth AD and the Misfits in general, I think that it inspires more like I think you get people realize like, oh, we can just
you can go loose because
you
just don't have to think about it as much.
Yeah, totally. We can just like aggression can just be what the genre of music we're playing is. Like, I don't have to learn a scale.
Right.
I think it's cool.
Right. That is really cool. And why did you have penne pasta around your neck? What's that about?
New Jersey.
Ah, okay.
Just I like
that's so good.
We had so much New Jersey in that video, so I was like New Jersey penne at the diner. Let's go.
That's right. You have Max. I mean, it all makes sense. Yes.
Yeah,
right.
I was
okay.
like I was the Jerry, and I was like, Jerry always has like a big skull thing. Like, like he just like Jerry looks
sharper
like
spikes.
Yeah, it looks like he drove his car into Halloween Adventure, crashed, and came out the other side with most of it attached to him. And I didn't have any of that, so I was like, I need like a big something, and I was like, box of penne, it's Jersey, let's go for it.
Did you so were you in were you like were you on like some guest list, or were you just in the pit for the Riot Fest Denver show? Where were you stationed?
Well, I was absolutely in the pit.
Yeah.
We had like
What was
press
that like?
oh, it was sick. It was we were like, what the fuck is this gonna be?
Yeah.
And then the entire night was just a blur of just like being really excited to like see Danzig just do like all of the Misfits songs, because it's like a 2-hour set, so it's
Yep.
every song you've heard.
Yep.
And I've seen the original Misfits now like 3 times.
I've seen them 3 as well. Were you at Madison Square Garden?
I was at the Garden show.
It's the best. That's it. I never have to see it again. That was the most perfect show.
It was great. I saw them at Psycho Vegas.
How was that one?
Yeah, that was I also I loved the New York show was fucking incredible. He's
With the Damned opening too. I mean, you realize that 40 years ago, they opened for the Damned.
Yes.
At like, at Hurrah's, and now 40 years later, they've sold out Madison Square Garden, and the Damned are opening for them. It's like,
that's so weird. It's
so
gotta
weird, dude.
It's so weird that the Misfits got this popular. That it is very bizarre.
And yet they're in no documentaries. I mean, they're never talked about,
Danzig got asked like one time, like, so what was it like at CBGB? He's like, why are you asking me about CBG? I played there one time on a Thursday. Fuck you. Like, they wouldn't let me in there. It was so funny. Yeah, there aren't enough, and that's why, like, most of my knowledge of the Misfits is like little brother knowledge. Is like just stuff
tell me about that.
Like, everything is hearsay. I have no
mythology.
I haven't done a ton of research about them. Like, most of what I know is just what like older kids like told me when I was in like high school. I was like, wow, like
it's beautiful.
Like I found out about like I remember like one person told me that they like beat up Motley Crue one time in Germany or something, and I was like, I don't know if that's real, but that's hilarious. And then
that's the best part. They're all, you never know whether it's real or fake.
I have no idea. But I love watching like old footage of them because it's hilarious. Like every set that they've ever played, like you have no idea really what they sound like live, because it's just you can't.
Yeah,
like, they're either like you can't hear a single chord, and then you like only if like the guitars stop for a little bit and Danzig gets a lyric in, you're like, oh, okay, it's Mommy. They're playing Mommy. Okay,
right.
cool. Like I have no idea. But the Riot Fest show was a blur of just me being happy, but then by the way, no one could go backstage. Even the bands that were playing Riot Fest, no one got to be side of stage. Like my goal was, of course, to be side of stage for that. But no one, you had to get like a suit. I think they were just really nervous because
I think you're
no
right.
one knew how the fuck this was gonna go.
Nobody.
That's why they did Denver first. Is they're like, we can't blow it all in Chicago. We got to make sure that we can pull this off. And I think that's how we were able to get into that Riot Fest, is because I'm from like Denver, so it was like easy to put it together. And then they wanted to help us do this sketch, so we got like very basic level press badges.
Nice.
It was very silly. But the best part, my favorite part,
Yeah.
was he always talks about the pumpkins every show.
Yes.
Made
You like my
pumpkins.
big pumpkins? They're
He,
fucking
dude,
cool.
yeah, dude. Well, it was the first time it happened. Drew and I, my co-creator, were in the pit,
Yeah.
like singing a song, and then we just pointed at the stage. We were like, "Look at this stupid fucking pumpkin!" Like, look at the shit. And then the song ends, and he goes like, "Check out these fucking pumpkins, right? Pretty cool, huh? I bet you like to have these pumpkins on your lawn during Halloween, and then your neighbor will come out and go, 'Hey, take that shit down,' and then you'll be like, 'Listen, motherfucker, I'll kill you.'" That's the first I remembered every single word of that, because that is the funniest fucking sentence I've ever heard in my life.
So I have a gift for you, actually. I'll
Okay.
send it to you in an email. I think you'll really appreciate it. It's from Riot Fest Denver. I went to Riot Fest Chicago.
Okay.
I wanted to go to Denver, but to be honest, I'm in New York, and I was like, man, like, it's 150 to fly, and it's 150 for the ticket. And I'm just like, but at the same time, I'm like, Jeff, you don't know if this is the last time. You don't even know if they're going to make it to the show. Like, they might, like, you have no idea how long this is going to last. Like, you better get your fucking ass out there, or, it might just implode. They might break up. They might just stop after the Riot Fest show.
Totally.
So you just didn't know at that point. So I got my ass on an airplane, and I wound up with this.
What? Oh, is that the set list?
That's Dave Lombardo's set list, signed by Jerry Only.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
my friend at the time, Sal B, he's in a band, Sardonica, and who used to play with Jerry all the time. And so he was working the show. So he pulled me over the barrier after the show was over and got me that set list. And that was my first time ever meeting Jerry. And I didn't see Dave Lombardo, but I saw Doyle, and it was a great night. Unbelievable. One of the best shows in my life, besides the MSG show. So it's great.
It's so.
I touched those pumpkins, by the way. I walked right up to them, and I knocked on them. They're like this lightweight fiberglass, I guess.
Yeah, I got a picture with just like the wall of fake Fiend Skull amps, because they didn't put up the pumpkins yet.
Wow.
Otherwise, I would have absolutely taken a picture with those dumbass Hanna-Barbera pumpkins. I love them. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted the stage to just look like. I love that he brought up, like, I bet you want this on your lawn at Halloween. I'm like, yeah, that's what your stage looks like, is someone's fucking Halloween lawn, which is exactly what I want from a Misfits set. A bit,
right.
But they could have, like, with the money they got from this, like, the whole time I was like, what the fuck is this stage gonna look like? What direction are they going in? And it is exactly what I want, which is like, listen, we're doing some Halloween shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of. It wasn't like,
I need 2 giant fucking pumpkins, okay, on either side of the stage.
They could have done like the Iron Maiden thing, where like the Fiend skull, and then like a fat bat, or like Marilyn Monroe and like the Fiend skull are fighting, or sword fighting each other or whatever. But he didn't do that. He was like, nah, how about instead of like big like paid actors, we just get another skull, another plastic skull. That'll be sick. You know,
let me ask you this:
8 skulls, 16 skulls, motherfucker.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
It's a combo question. It's a combo question, and then I want to share something with you, and then we'll wrap up. We're gonna wrap it up here. My combo question is: A, why are the Misfits so much fun? Nobody talks about No Effects or the Descendants, or like, nobody talks about them the way they talk about the Misfits. Why are the Misfits, A, so fun to talk about, and B, why does Glenn Danzig get made fun of so much on the internet? Like, what is the phenomenon behind. There's something about Glenn. Is it because he takes himself so incredibly seriously?
Yes.
Like,
there it is. There it is right there. I think, well, here's the thing. He didn't get made fun of for a really long time. And then I think when the cell phone video of him getting knocked out by the bodyguard from the
don't say their name. Just don't even say their name. Don't give them the press.
Okay. I mean, here's the thing. But that's how Danzig still is. Like, you can't fuck with him running his shows the way that they run. Like,
right.
that's always and I think when he got knocked out, it was just like it was just like, oh, okay, well, this is goofy now.
At the birth of YouTube, no less.
At the birth of YouTube. And I think it's, because for the longest time, I think he's finally starting to like lighten up a little bit.
He's melted. He's melted a little bit. He's starting to crack a smile.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he at like, he's like sassy and mean to Jerry on stage and stuff, but like in a funny, like, Jerry, get out of here.
Yeah.
Doyle and I are working.
Hey,
it's very funny.
Jerry, you got a bass guitar for everybody out here?
Yeah. Loved him finally calling, because he didn't do that at the earlier shows. They didn't plan that for him to like rag on Jerry for breaking 1,000 bases with his elbow, 1,000 paper bases.
Just amazing.
It was just very funny at like MSG for him to like finally just like, all right, I guess we gotta wait for Jerry to get another fucking bass. Jesus.
There's some love, there's some camaraderie when they're on the stage,
Yeah.
It's not
so. But even, with him you can see him like having like a little bit of sense of humor. Like, he did the Portlandia stuff, because I think
that was great.
I think that like it's like Danzig. It's easy to make fun of him because he's a weird, eccentric, like self-serious person, with very specific interests. Every interview with Danzig is like he's really angry and he knows more than the interview person, whether he does or doesn't. Like, it's a part of it. My favorite thing is he's like my favorite musician or eccentric musician, because he is eccentric in a way that is harmful to nobody, and it's just very funny. I remember there was like a few years ago where there were articles going around like Glenn Danzig hates Planned Parenthood, and it was like, no, look, read what he said. He thinks that Planned Parenthood is awesome. He just thinks they sell baby skulls also. And I'm like, that's the type of shit I want. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm pro-choice. It's a woman's body, but also you go around back, you can buy some skulls, man. I know. I would know. I'm Dr. Skulls. And I think like that shit is so funny. Like that's the kind of like weird character or like when he moved out of his like the infamous house with the weird bricks in the
bricks,
and people go inside and they're like, there was just cereal and a Marvin the Martian statue. I love that shit. And I think that like, I think people now are talking about the Descendants and these, and maybe not no effects. Fat Mike's kind of an asshole. Or maybe I don't know him very well at all. I don't know him at all, so I can't say, but he gets himself in trouble all the time for years for being a dick, and that's just, I don't know, that's what happens. People are mad. But the Descendants, I think, are getting the recognition finally, because forever I wouldn't put, I was always confused why like the Descendants weren't Green Day. I was surprised that,
well, they were the first ones. They invented, I mean, they essentially, not only did they invent that, like all that stuff that came in the 90s. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they were the first ones to do it. And what happens when you're the first to do it? When you're the first to do it, you don't get to taste the success. You break through.
Which is
Sorry, go
weird
ahead.
because Danzig did. Like,
But
eventually,
as Danzig, not as
the
well. I
Misfits.
mean, now as the Mist. Yeah, right. Okay, I see what you're
But
saying.
now,
Yes.
yeah, it came
Yeah.
back, and I think that we're starting to
Mhm.
see that with the Descendants. So many people are appreciating it, or like, you know, you got
They were great at Riot Fest Chicago.
they're great. I think they're an awesome band, but I think there is something so specifically. I think it's because like the Misfits are simple and they're catchy and they sound like they're the real like concept of what punk should be, which
Yeah.
is uh angsty simple music written by children, and that's what they were. They were fucking children writing music, and it's my favorite version of it because it's so simple and it's so pissed off and it's about stuff they're watching on TV and and weird conspiracies, because that's really what being like a kid
Yeah.
is, you know. I
Mhm.
think it's I like that's why it's my favorite version. It's not like it's it's not like I am a I'm a leftist. Like
Me too.
I'm very into politics, but I do love that their version of like they're 15-year-olds writing about like what they think about the government and stuff, but conspiracy theories of it. It's not like I don't want a fucking 15-year-old to tell me what we should be changing in in politics most of the time. And I think, as I said at the beginning of the episode, you can see that because most of those people grew up to be right wing assholes, and it sucks. But
It's true, man.
yeah, but yeah, I think Danzig is easy to make fun of because he's just he's very he's very self serious, and he also just has that thing when you get famous where you just stay uh the same because for years. So he's just been like he's been the same guy since he was like 22 years old. And I think now finally he's starting to be like, all right, well, fuck it, man. My back sucks. Become a person now, I guess.
Listen, I really want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really great to have you.
Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Are you with me? Are you with me? Are you with me? I think so. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that was the interview. He's a great guy, man. Gwarsenio Hall. That's Gwarsenio Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, really nice dude. Again, shout out to Gwarsenio Hall for being so giving of his time and putting on all that face paint. I specifically said, I was like, with the corpse paint, please. I'm sure, he's got to stay on brand no matter what with the face paint. I shouldn't have called it the ranch story, by the way, because that kind of, I should have buried the lead. It's a better surprise. That interview is clipped slightly short because I told him the ranch story. And it's a story that I don't really talk about publicly. I've talked about it a little bit with friends on the side, a little bit. But I was like, I've been wanting to do it on the show, and I've been like waiting, and like, it's been 7 years, and I just figured, and I'm really building it up. It's not that big of a deal at all. It's really, you're gonna probably hear it and go like, oh my god, like that's all that is. But for us Misfits nerds, for us. for a diehard Danzig fans, I think it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty funny story considering the cast of characters and what went down. Like I said, I told the story to Gwarsenio next, and he was thoroughly repulsed. Like, he thought it was funny, but he was also thoroughly repulsed at the story, at the situation, because of the well, I'll explain in a minute. And I just was like, I'm like, I feel like I could tell the story better. I want to tell the story better than it is in that entry. You can hear it when I upload it to the YouTube. You'll hear it the way I told Sam. Here is the story. The year is 2013. Danzig is doing shows with Doyle. They're doing, the standard Misfits set in the middle of the Danzig set. I mean, it really is the best way to see, Danzig. Not to say that, like, I personally, I'd love to see like a full Danzig show with a full Danzig set list. However, as just a diehard, huge, ginormous Misfits fan, I mean, what better way to, like, you get warmed up with Tired of Being Alive or whatever, and then all of a sudden Doyle comes out on the stage, and he's doing those little, he's got his guitar, he's going, dong, dong, as he's marching around the stage. Glenn goes, Doyle! He calls him out, and Doyle comes out and stomps around, and they launch into the set. Steve on bass, Tommy on guitar, second guitar, Johnny on drums. I mean, it's perfect, man. It's just a perfect thing. So Danzig was doing a show with Doyle at the Roseland Ballroom in Manhattan. R.I.P. It was the last year of that venue's existence. And this was the last time Danzig was going to play it. Jeremy says he was at the L.A. show during the Legacy shows. Those Legacy shows were great, man. I love the Misfits reunions, but I love the fucking Legacy shows just as much because it's so great to see just like a slice of everything from Danzig to Samhain to Misfits. You really get it all, man. You get it all, and it's fucking cool. And it's truly a tragedy that he ended. I mean, I guess he did it right. He finished 30 bloody years of Samhain, and that's it. Samhain's done. However, I wish we could have seen a little bit more of that, especially when you have Steve in the band. I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer. Tommy was perfect on guitar for those Legacy shows for Samhain. It was great. It was truly great. Anyway, back to the story. So, Roseland Ballroom, the year is 2013. 2013 or 2014? It might have been 2014. Wow. No, it was 2013. It had to be late 2013. So I was invited to the show by a gentleman who remained nameless. Invited me to the show. I was put on a guest list. So I got a badge, and I came. Thank you. Jonathan says, we love your East Coast style of narration out here in California. All love. Thank you, Jonathan. That's so great. Jeremy says it was 2013. Okay, so it was 2013. I don't know how you know that, Jeremy, but whatever. It's 2013. New York. I have a badge. I'm on a guest list. And I'm at the show. I'm behind the scenes of the show. I've never had this experience before. It's really fucking cool. And I bump into two very familiar people there that I knew previously. One is someone I consider a friend, and one, I guess, an acquaintance, someone who I've, collaborated with in the past. Those two people were Sal B, was my friend, who we do rock and roll cooking together. So he was backstage. He was there because he's, buddies with Doyle. And as a matter of fact, this was before we did the Doyle episode of Rock and Roll Cooking. And he's also there with Dr. Chud. And Dr. Chud, this is, years before all the bad blood with Chud. Chud is, at the time, he's the drummer for Doyle. As a matter of fact, Abominator has not come out yet. So it had to be 2013 because Abominator came out in 2014. And they were doing the tour in 2014. So this I want to say this was the fall This was the fall or late summer of 2013. They were gearing up. The engineer for Abominator was also there, Nick. So I was hanging out with a little bit with Nick. I was hanging out with Chud, and I was hanging out mostly with Sal. And Chud is fucked up out of his mind. Sal's pretty drunk, I think. And Nick's just chilling. And Robbie says that's the show where they gave Danzig the briefcase of money from the door too, ? I remember Sal talking about that. I don't know. I never knew that. Sal never said that to me. But I get to be backstage, and it's pretty fucking cool. I'm not in any dressing rooms or anything, but I'm just hanging out backstage. I watched the show from the balcony up above. You weren't allowed up there, but I was like up there on the side of the thing. I'm watching the show. I was like, I've been in the pit so many times. I wonder what it's like up top. Matter of fact, Glenn threw fucking devil horns to me from the fucking stage. He was turning around, he threw some fucking devil horns at me. It was pretty fucking cool. So the show goes on. It's a great fucking show. They play a ton of songs. And I will tell you, I think it's way better to watch these shows in the pit. Felipe says Starland, December 26, 2012. Felipe, is that a show you were at? I was not at that show. It's not a fun way to see a show from the balcony. I didn't enjoy it. I'm a person, I need to be immersed in the pit. I need to fucking just, feel the demon sweat thrall of it all. You know what I mean? I just need to be in there, in the shit, and you don't get that experience just standing still on a balcony. That's why I'm so glad I was in the pit for every one of the original Misfit shows. Ultimately, I tried to get backstage every time. Only got backstage one time at Riot Fest, and you know what? That was cool, but I'm glad I watched the show in the pit. Had I watched it from like some other vantage point, it just wouldn't have been the same, man. You got to be in the pit. You got to feel the fucking, So, great show. Show ends. The mother chick was there. You remember the mother chick who's in the music video with Glenn Danzig for the song Mother from 1989 or 1988, whatever the original Mother video came out. She was one of the girls, and she came out of the woodwork around this time. Well, no, a few years before. She married Bobby Steele. Bobby Steele and the mother chick fell in love and got married. This is before Bobby wound up with Diana Steele, they are like the perfect couple, match made. I'm so happy for you, Bobby, that you guys found each other. Because when they broke up, Bobby was bummed out, and it was like a really good thing. It was a really good thing that Bobby found Diana, I think. I just think it's just lovely, truly lovely that they are a match made in heaven. So the mother chick was there. She's trying to talk to Doyle, and she's dressed like Poison Ivy. She's wearing nothing, and there are these weird leaves like covering her tits, and she's just like naked. It's just a fucking weird ass situation. Robbie says married at Chiller Theater, then said she tried to kill him in Israel on their honeymoon. Yeah, the mother chick is a little crazy. And yes, they were married at Chiller, and I was with Dave Street, and we were sort of invited to the wedding. We did not go into the wedding. That was a very confusing situation. Both Dave Street and I were invited to this wedding at Chiller Theater. We did not wind up. Dave Street is the guy who wrote the insert for the horror business. He's a lyricist for the Undead and friend of Bobby. Yeah, they were married at Chiller, right? It was super weird. He was wearing a powder blue tuxedo, Bobby was, with a blue top hat. He looked like the third guy in Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, Lloyd, what the fuck was his name? There's Lloyd, and who's the other one? Jim Carrey is... No, Lloyd, and which one's Jeff Daniels? I don't remember his fucking name. Whatever. Bad joke. Anyway, so the mother chick's there. She's trying to talk to Doyle. Doyle doesn't want to have anything of it. I did not talk to Doyle at all. I just was like walking around, man. Like it was just super cool. I was mostly hanging out with Sal and Chud because I knew them and I felt comfortable hanging out with them, and just like, being backstage, I just didn't want to like look like a sore thumb. So it was easier to, yuck it up with these guys, even though they're just like, I mean, Sal is getting drunker and drunker by the minute. He's just fucked up, and Chud is like on another level. And what's funny? I'll never forget. Someone was talking about this to me recently, but I'll never forget. Chud was trying to talk to Glenn at one point backstage. This was, I guess, afterwards. There was like this like green room sort of situation. Everybody's in there. I'm in a room with Danzig. I'm in a room with Doyle. Steve is over on one side. Couple of guys from Sardonica. Sal's there. And Chud, I forget. Chud's like trying to like say something to Glenn. And like Glenn looks so incredibly overwhelmed. Like get this guy out of my fucking face sort of situation. But that was when like Chud was like, he was the drummer. I mean, he was a solid drummer, not solid drummer. He was the solid placeholder in the band Doyle. Like he was the drummer at that time. So I guess he could kind of felt like he could do whatever the fuck he wanted. I don't fucking know. But, and I remember Doyle was sitting at a table, full makeup. Everybody's taking pictures. I wanted to take a picture. I don't know. I felt overwhelmed. I had taken pictures with Danzig and Doyle previously. I just felt like I didn't need it, I don't know. I just thought it was cool to be there. I literally was just quiet, just watching everything. Yeah, thank you. Kenny says Harry and Lloyd and Bobby. That's what I meant to say. Harry from Dumb and Dumber. I'm just taking it all in, man. I'm just watching this. I'm literally looking over across the room, and there's Doyle sitting at a table, and next to him is Glenn, and they're just sitting there, and the room is full of fucking people. It just blew my fucking mind. And I watched people take pictures with both of them, and I was kind of like, oh man, I like wanted to go up there, and I just didn't. I don't know. It was fucking weird. I'm just sitting there, minding my own business, just sort of like watching everything. And you know what? I remember looking out the window, and I saw Paul Bazile, the guy who directed Living the American Nightmare. He was down in the alley, like looking up. I think he was waiting for Glenn to come out onto his bus or something. I don't know. Here is where the story really takes off, though. So we're having like a good time. We're just like hanging out. I had a great time that night. It was a lot of fun. I laughed a lot with Sal and Chud. It was a good time, all things considered. But the thing was, there was no water. Like, I was so fucking thirsty. I was screaming my lungs out, singing the songs. It was smoky backstage, where those guys were. Not the band, not the Danzig band. Just whatever. The backstage area was like, there was like one tiny little green room, and there was a bigger green room, and they weren't green rooms at all. Then there's Danzig's dressing room, which is not to be disturbed at all. And I don't know where Steve or Johnny or Tommy's dressing room. I guess they had a separate dressing room, but I did not. Maybe it was that room. Maybe it was that other room that we were in at the end. And Doyle definitely had his own room somewhere. I didn't see where that was either. I'm trying to remember if I had said anything to Doyle that night. I don't think I did. No, I really don't think I did. No. So we're everything's just going around. I'm super fucking thirsty, like parched. We all are. Sal is parched. Dr. Chud is parched. And I believe it was Dr. Chud or Sal that were like, oh my God, like mentioned that that Glenn had tons and tons of Powerades in his dressing room. And we're like, well, let's just wait till he leaves and we'll go in there and we'll drink Powerade, which is refrigerated. It's in a refrigerator. And I was like, and I think at one point I had walked past, there was like a long hallway, and I had walked past Glenn's dressing room. Dare not fucking go near it in any way, shape, or form. Door was closed at all times. He had that guy, Dave, the big guy, security guard. He was running to. He wouldn't have let anybody near that door anyway. But everybody was now piled into this other room. Doyle he's doodling. He's doodling on a table. He's doing like a little doodle on the tablecloth. Him and Glenn both leave. The place starts to clear out. Chud, Sal, and myself wait around. And we wait, and it was like a secret mission, man. We waited. Everybody was gone, and we went into Glenn Danzig's dressing room. And it was fucking incredible because, like, there's a fridge. We open up the fridge. There's ice cold Powerades. We're just fucking crushing these Powerades. I mean, Glenn's gone by this point. He's never coming back to the place. I don't know what's going to happen to that stuff. I was really just following Sal and Chud's lead. You know, I was just sort of like the hanger-on guy experiencing this experience. We're drinking Powerade, and it just feels so good to, like, quench my thirst. And then we look over, and there's just like a table, man. There's like a table with all this stuff. There are those German gummy bears. It begins with an H. Hybro. They're gummy bears on the table. Unopened packages of gummy bears. So I fucking rip that open. I'm eating. I'm like, and every time we open a thing or look at a thing, we're laughing about how this is Glenn Danzig's whatever. This is Glenn Danzig's Powerade that we're enjoying. These are Glenn Danzig's gummy bears that we're enjoying. And he has there's like an array of tea bags. There's all these teas. Just a very, there were cookies. They were Chips Ahoy cookies, I think. Just like a various accoutrement on this table. And that's when I saw it. Sal took a package of white T-shirts, unopened package of white T-shirts, like Hanes, like undershirts. Takes a package of unopened Hanes T-shirts. I think they were T-shirts. Yeah, they had to been T-shirts. He takes them and he fucking puts them down the back of his fucking pants and puts his shirt back. Just like takes this package of shirts, commenting on how they're Glenn Danzig's T-shirts. And we're snickering. We're like fucking schoolboys. This is me, Dr. Chud, and Sal. Eating gummy bears, slamming Powerade, just like yucking it up about how we're in Glenn Danzig's dressing room. And, you know, it was very nice. And, you know, all of that stuff, for those of you who are unaware, there are riders. They're tour riders, right? They have, you know, their various things on the rider. And, you know, you have... You put what you want, and the promoter has to make sure those things are there. It's part, you know, I mean, it's contractual. Like, you have to have it. If you are, like, for instance, if you're a singer and you want to make sure that there's always tea and honey there, so that way you can, make sure that your throat is good before you're singing. Or maybe you're into, like, fucking bologna, like cold cuts. You're like, I want a tray of cold cuts at every show. You have to have all this stuff. It's a contract sort of situation. So Glenn has, so everything that we're seeing, I'm thinking in my head, I'm going, and it's possible that it's not. And again, I don't actually know, but it's very possible, perhaps, that Peter asked, were there any milk duds? No, there were no milk duds. Maybe there were. I don't know. I didn't see any milk duds, but there were fucking gummy bears, and they were delicious. I mean, who knows if the promoter just brought this stuff or that all this stuff was in the rider. I'm sure it was in the rider, man. I mean, you hear about these things. There's a joke in Wayne's World Part 2 where they're the roadie guy that they hire to put on the show, and he's talking about how he picks out all the brown M&Ms for the bands. Like, that's what bands do. They do these ridiculous requests. As a matter of fact, go find Iggy Pop's tour rider for the Stooges. He wrote it himself, and it's like 16 pages of like just crazy nonsense. It's just like they can be so funny, just bullshit, man. Like, I want a fucking football helmet with cottage cheese in it, and it's got to be there because it's part of the contract. We want liquor, we want this, we want that, and that's when I look on the table and I see this. Wait, we got to do the thumbnail. Oh, shit. That's a good thumbnail. That's a thumbnail. That's when I see this. An unopened bottle of Wishbone Ranch dressing naturally helps better absorb vitamins A and E. See the back to learn for more. Great for dipping. The bolder, the better. And it was funny, Jordan, a.k.a. Gwarsenio, there was he was talking about, he said something about Glenn Danzig's ranch would have, if that was really Glenn Danzig's ranch, it would have a fishnets. It would be in fishnets. And I was like, well, there is this hatch pattern, and yes, Rue, that's right. This was my souvenir. Here I am, a fucking diehard fucking Misfits Samhain Danzig fan in Glenn Danzig's dressing room. After he's left, I'm with the fucking drummer from the 95 Misfits and Sal B. I mean, what the fuck? What a ridiculous fucking story. And I see a bottle of fucking ranch dressing unopened, and I'm like, that's mine. I'm taking this with me. This is my souvenir. This is the greatest souvenir. This was Glenn Danzig's ranch dressing. And as you notice, it's turned brown. You know why? Because this is from 7 years ago. The expiration date is June 17th, 2014. This thoroughly disgusted Gwarsenio. He thought it was hilarious, but he was also grossed out that it was turning brown. And I said to him, I was like, you'll hear it in the thing. I was like, is there anything more perfect? I mean, is there anything more Glenn Danzig than fucking if he was going to eat, ranch dressing on salad that obviously it would be fucking brown, be like dark, evil ranch dressing, Oh, Peter says, dude, could you imagine if he came back for it? Oh my God. We burst into, hey, I left my ranch dressing up here. Hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? We would have died. We would have absolutely disintegrated. Jonathan James from California says he was at a party in LA at the Misfits show last year and said it was totally surreal. He said there were bondage girls as tables. Wow, that sounds interesting. On all fours with ashtrays and drinks on their backs. Holy. So that's the fucking evil ranch story, guys. I mean, I told you, it's not that fucking crazy. I snagged the bottle and I left. I had a great fucking night. I did not meet Danzig. I don't think I met Doyle. It was a fucking incredible night, and I was so grateful to have the experience, and I really never spoke about it because I didn't want to I don't know. I just didn't want to, I was a guest. I was on someone's guest list. I didn't want to I don't know. I just felt like it was bad form. But, we've been doing the show for 6 months now, and I just felt like, I need material, and I thought that would be it'd be a funny story to share with everybody. And this is 100% true. I shit you not. Salby and I have not spoken in a while, but I'm sure if you ask Salby, he would corroborate the story. Don't bother asking that fucking drummer, Chud. Because he's a fucking lying sack of shit who probably wouldn't tell you the truth anyway. But, yeah, man, this is my fucking Wishbone Ranch dressing from Glenn Danzig's dressing room. And I'll never throw it away. As long as it remains intact, I will keep this as a souvenir. I'm letting it ripen so that it can be, black. His black ranch. Instead of her black wings. Oh, under his ranch dressing. It's just fucking great, man. It's just a funny fucking story. And Sal and I, for years afterwards, would laugh about this story. We would fucking reminisce on this story and laugh so hard. It was just such a fucking, what a fucking trip that was. It was a really good fucking time. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, as long as it stays. And, if I really had the fucking balls, I would fucking, next time Danzig was doing some signing, I'd go up to him and be like, would you please sign this ranch dressing? And he'll have no idea. And just fucking sign it for me, and I'll just have it. Or he would do the exact opposite, be like, hey, that's my fucking ranch dressing! And just, punch me in the face. Either way would be really great. So that is the story. I hope you guys had a good time tonight with this episode. I have to be up in the morning to drive my son to school. And thank you, John. John says it was a great story. I'd blank ranch dressing all night. Ha ha ha. Yeah, man. Just fucking ranch dressing all day and all fucking night. You can find this story. Yes, Russell, that's right. Dirty black dressing. That's there was a pun in there somewhere, and we just weren't finding it. If you enjoyed this content, subscribe on my YouTube. Check it out. Check out the merch. Check out the T-shirts. Buy a cup of coffee to support this. Check out 1979. Enter the fucking song contest. If you missed it, all the stuff was in the front of the thing. We'll be back next week with another episode. I'm not sure it will be as exciting as this one. Maybe it will be that another filler Jerry only 2003 interview. I did have this one piece of content that I was hoping would be ready, but it's not. It's not the 1979. It's this guy has a tape that of a Danzig autograph signing from 1990, and I don't know what happened to it. I have to talk to him about it. And I guess that's our fucking show. So, Robbie says, yeah, there needs to be a new shirt with the ranch. I have a couple of shirt ideas. I hesitate to like tell you now because I want to leave it as a surprise. But yeah, maybe there needs to be a ranch shirt. I mean, right? Like all this stuff is inside jokes, you know? But what would it be? Danzig's evil, Dirty Danzig Ranch? I don't know. Fucking Wishbone Ranch? Juju Bone Ranch! Holy shit. Juju Bone Ranch dressing. Instead of Wishbone Ranch dressing? I think that's it. Thank you, Rue. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another fucking excellent, fucking fun episode, and I hope I don't get in trouble for telling that story in any way, shape, or form. I don't know why I just said that out loud. Okay. Peace. Bye. Where's the... You know, they changed the layout. I don't know how to end this thing. Huh. How am I supposed to... How do I end stream?